second rhythm section. This section is going to focus a bit more on playing single notes and not as many chords as we did in the last section. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a riff, we're going to break it down, and we're going to work with how your right hand needs to almost become a bit more robotic with your playing now, because you can't focus on it as much since you have to focus on your left hand. So the riff goes like this. Sorry. What this does is makes your right hand drone along. What your right hand is doing is basically this. Over and over and over, and your left hand moves accordingly. So here's how it works. Let's break down the riff. Now, this is all in the same scale as we've used before, E minor. And what you are going to do is every time you pluck a note, you are going to hit the open string after. So you start by playing open and then the 7th fret. By the way, all of these notes are on the 6th string. So if I say a fret, just assume it's to the 6th string. So you start by playing open 7. The next fret that you play with your left hand is going to be 10. But since you're playing another note, you have to put in another open note. Right? See how it goes? The next 2 frets are 8 and 7 on, again, the 6th string. Open 7, open 10, open 8, open 7. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to work down the scale. The next fret would be the 5th, the next lower note in the scale. Okay. Then the 8th, then the 7th, then the 5th. So you have 7, 10, 8, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5, and finally 3, 7, 5, 3. What you can do to start this is instead of putting in the open note, if you're having a hard time playing, you can just play the 6th string notes. You can just go 7, 10, 8, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5, 3, 7, 5, 3. The last thing you're going to do is put in 4 hits of the 2nd fret. Okay? So now the whole thing looks like this. The last time you do this, or every other time you do this, you are going to hit the 7th fret 4 times. So the first time you do it, you hit the 2nd fret 4 times. The next time you hit the 7th fret the 4th time. So you alternate back and forth between the 2 of them. So because your left hand has to move a good amount, you want to be watching your left hand when you play. Because what this does is, since your right hand is pretty much anchored to your guitar, okay, you don't have as much space to move. But your left hand, since it has to move up and down, needs to go all over the place. So if you watch great guitarists play, they're always watching their left hand. They're not really watching their right hands. So that's where the robotic motion comes in. If you haven't noticed by now, it's pretty simple as far as the motion goes. It's just up, down, up, down. But you really want to get that in rhythm. Once you get this lick down, play around with it, play some different notes. You don't have to keep the same pattern. Again, make it your own. When we come back, we're going to go over how you can use the 6th string and the 5th string. So you're basically going to play the same riff on the 5th string, but you're going to drone along the open note on the lower string, the 6th string, and how it kind of can give you a cooler sound. And eventually we're going to combine the 2 and go back and forth. Okay, so work on this riff and then come back, and then I'll see you in the next video, and we'll get even cooler with everything that we're doing. See you in the next video.